Figueroa, 2020 years of dance, ritual. This is such a cool piece. I have really enjoyed getting to work on it. And it just has a lot of heritage, I guess, for me. And it's a little bit different, but similar to the rest of the pieces. I think just the way the process, I guess, felt different as well of how I painted it. And I think, the subject right in the middle really captures your attention. It's a statue, and this whole piece is really, I wanted to express how much transformation I experienced when I went to Mexico City, and the importance of Mexico City for me and my own identity development. And one of the most transformational pieces about Mexico City was in Museo Nacional de Antropología. And there in El Museo, they have a bunch of different statues, and it's also in chronological order, so you can start in the beginning and move all the way around, which is what I did. And it takes a long time. It takes a full day, and we went about halfway, legit, and then we kind of rushed the second half because it's that big. And so this sculpture, this statue can be found there, and this is a Nahua god called Catliqui. And this piece is also, I want to say, inspired by this band called Los Cojolones, and they're also based out of Mexico City. And the ways in which that they make me dance again, and I love to dance, especially to rock and roll, their rock, punk, and the idea of the pit. I grew up going into pits, and how ancestral that is to dance in a circle. So I wanted to highlight this sculpture and then this sort of process of dance, of liberation around it. And by learning through YouTube about Los Cojolones, they talked about this term called Mexiqueyoro, which is the study of our ancient roots. And so I wanted to highlight that idea. And I have the chains. I've been working on a podcast with my dad, and we call it Linked. And the idea is, how do we stay linked together, right? And for me, these chains represent the linking of generations and the ways in which that we hold each other and fortify each other. And that happens through the dance, through coming together to explore and learn about our ancestry, right? Mexiqueyoro. And one of the cool pieces about Catliqui is that this piece has a super wild story, and that is that when the Spanish first came, they were destroying everything, right, and burying it. And so this piece came later, right? It wasn't a part of the first things that they saw and that they destroyed. And so by the time that they found this specific piece, the native people to that region were worshiping it nonstop. And so they actually felt like maybe we shouldn't destroy it, also because of the snakes. They were actually afraid that if they destroyed it, that the devil would come out, because the original people worshiped this as kind of a dark god, right? And that at about that time in the story, the Spanish were talking about how they conquered Latin America, Mexico, and people were starting to question whether it was a real feat or not. right? The story is that they were savages, and so that they came here and they conquered them. It was so easy. And so the world was kind of saying, well, if they were so easy and savages to conquer, then who cares? It's not a real feat. And so at that point, they had already destroyed so much of the text, so many statues, things that could prove and show the world how complex and real of a civilization and civilizations there were here. They found this statue and they said, let's send this over there so that they can see, or let's have all the people come and see this statue and one other one that they had at the time preserved. And so they brought this statue in. They brought all these diplomats from Europe to show them how great of a civilization the Nahuas were, the kind of complex art that existed, that only a great civilization, right? And so trying to switch the narrative from we conquered these savages to we conquered this great civilization. And Catliqui is also, for me, a symbol of that resilience, of survival, and also a symbol of greatness, and how they were trying to flip the script to make themselves look good, and nonetheless this piece survived because of that desire to look a certain way. And then after that they buried it because they didn't want to destroy it, but they also didn't want to have it up, and so they would bury it and then unbury it to show it to diplomats whenever they would visit Nueva España. Which is also really funny because even though it wasn't out and about for people to see or for the native people to come and worship it, because they also noticed that if it was up, that people came and brought gifts to it, that they buried it. And because of this paradigm, I guess, with the colonizers, this piece was able to survive. And now you can find it there in el Museo Nacional de Antropología in Mexico City. It's huge and it's beautiful, and I'm so grateful that it was able to survive, and that it's something that when I went to go visit and when I go and I stand around all of these sculptures and rocks, it's transformational. I can feel their vibration. I can feel the history of resilience, of warriors, of survival just flowing inside of me. And so that's what this Mexica Yodel really represents for me. I could probably talk about this piece forever. I'm wondering, what do you think? What do you like, or what gives you any curiosities about this piece?